Hey.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Nico. I use he, him pronouns. For a visual description, I'm a white man with floppy blonde hair, a black headset, and a polka dotted black shirt. I'm seated in front of a white background. And like about 25% of the global population, I'm disabled. Non disabled people might see our lives as sad, pitiful, tragic, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a really long time, and I think there's room for disabled joy too. I'd be
Absolutely.
pretty bored if I could only ever feel one emotion, regardless of what that emotion might be. However, the disability community has as many members as it has opinions, which is why I've asked my friend Makeda here to talk with me about disabled joy. Makeda, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I'll just introduce myself if that's okay. My name is Makeda, Austin, and I use any pronouns with respect. And I am a Black person with purple locks that have tinsel in them, rainbow tinsel, and I am wearing a striped shirt. With horizontal black and white stripes, and I have a background, one of those generic Zoom backgrounds, which makes me look like I'm on a beach somewhere. There's a palm tree and waves in the background and a beautiful blue sky.
Fantastic. Thank you. Makeda, can you share a joyful memory with us? It could intersect with your disability, but it also could not. Both are valid.
Yeah, I love to share about my disability. So I describe my disability as bipolar neurodivergence. I'm not a fan of the term disorder because I think that sometimes there's a stigma associated with it. And a joyful memory that I have is that comes to mind. I love music. I think that a lot of people think about the moods with bipolar, and there's a lot of misunderstandings around the moods, but I think that definitely something that a good memory that I have was I love live music because I think what really draws people to music is the mood and is the emotions that you can experience from different artists, and you can kind of tap into what they're feeling. And there's nothing like tapping into different people's emotions, especially when it's through live music. So one of my greatest memories is seeing Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly live in DC, near Howard, and it was a very small venue because I don't like crowds very much, and so it was a very small kind of intimate venue, and it was beautiful, and there were other fans that were just as excited to see him, and I love the energy and I love the vibes, and it was just a beautiful experience for me. It's one of my favorite albums, one of my favorite artists. I went with my best friend, who notably also has bipolar neurodivergence. And so both of us had a wonderful time. And one thing that's very interesting is my best friend was just standing very still during the concert and just kind of nodding her head, but I was like, dancing and like vibing. So that's just within two people who may have the same condition, the way that, but both of us were as happy as can be. So disabled joy can look very different. Sometimes it's very animated. Sometimes it might just be a straight face and a nod here and there. So that's a moment that meant a lot to me.
Makeda, thank you so much. I'm really thankful that you pointed out that disabled joy can take many forms and can look very different from person to person. How has your disability impacted your ability to pursue happiness or to pursue joy?
It's definitely affected it in a very positive way. I think that a lot of people, when I tell them, oh, I have bipolar or something, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I think that they mean well because they know that it means that I've experienced some struggles. But sometimes I don't like when people say that because truly, the struggle isn't the only thing. Getting diagnosed for me, and I don't say that for everyone, was actually a very positive experience for me. And it helped me understand how I have highs and lows, and everyone has highs and lows, whether you have a bipolar neurodivergent diagnosis or not. And so it just helped me to understand the highs and understand the lows, because I think also a lot of people stereotype with bipolar neurodivergent. All they think about is the mania and the acting, well, whatever they may think of. But it definitely affected me. So for me, I'm thankful for the lows and I'm thankful for the highs. They're not always comfortable. I'm not always happy during the lows, and I during the highs I'm not always happy either. And I don't pursue happiness as the only thing, but joy is something that is more accessible for me. I can experience joy while depressed. I can experience joy while having mania, and then just in my day-to-day life, because I don't experience mania very often, but I experience depression more often. So I'm actually, my profile, my day-to-day experience is very similar to someone who experiences depression, but I just have every once in a while, every 3 years so far, have I experienced the mania symptoms. And I think that there's a saying there's a saying, or there's a song that I really like that says that, because of course I love music, but it says, let me see if I can remember it. It says, this joy of mine, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. And so I think that with bipolar neurodivergence, everyone knows the highs and the lows, but if you think about it, life is full of highs and lows. So I'm just experiencing those in a somewhat different way, but I'm different from others and I'm similar from others. In some ways I'm different, in some ways I'm the same, but everyone experiences highs and lows. But for me, the joy, I try to keep that constant. And one way that I do that is by listening to music.
Makeda, thank you so much. That's fantastic. What one thing do you want other people to know about disability or about disabled quality of life?
Yeah, I think that in that same way, it was very scary when I got diagnosed. So I think that I'm someone that is very comfortable with mixed emotions, and that it's actually a strength of mine, because I understand that you can be both sad and joyful at the same time. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand, that someone can be smiling and sad, or someone can be frowning and happy. I actually have an upside down smile that I got from my grandmother, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia in the 70s and or 60s or 70s, and she has an upside down smile, like a frown. So I think that something that I think about with the quality of life is that even if you're unwell, you can still have a very positive quality of life. You can have the goal is to live well, not to be well. And being well it's very loaded. There's a lot that we could talk about that I can't get into, but I really do believe that living well despite and sometimes because of your difference is very positive. So I would say when I think of quality of life, those are things that come to mind.
Thank you so much. I love that quote that you have. I think you should get it on a shirt, right? The goal
I
is to
like that
live well.
too. I should do that. Thanks for that.
Of course, of course. This brings me to my last question, Makita, and you've been a great conversationalist so far. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Of course, do you have a recent win that you're celebrating? Or if not, where can people find you online? What projects do you have that you want to promote? This is your chance to brag about yourself, so let it all out.
Yeah. I don't have any projects at this time, but a big win that I'm celebrating is that I recently became a doctor. I got my PhD in health psychology it was officially in September, but I'm going to be celebrating very soon with a graduation party, possibly at a skating rink, which is very different, but I love skating and I think that could be really fun. So I'm celebrating in a non-conventional way, becoming a doctor of psychology. And a lot of people don't know that you can have a mental health disability and be a psychologist. It actually makes you a better psychologist because you have that lived experience. So that's a win that I'm really celebrating. I have papers that have been published and in peer-reviewed journals, and I've been relatively successful in my career despite getting diagnosed with bipolar disorder or neurodivergence during grad school. So right in the middle of grad school in 2020, I was diagnosed and I was afraid that I might drop out, but I was able to persevere. And now I have a degree and no one can take it away from me, and I'm a doctor for life. So that's a big win that I'm celebrating.
Dr. Makeda Austin, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your joys and successes with us. This
Yeah,
was really great. Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. All
Thank
right. Of course. Audience, tune in next time. And remember, I'm rooting for you.
you.